In the year 2000, Californians voted yes on legislation to define marriage as being between a man and a woman. In May 2008, 4 San Francisco judges overturned this legislation, ruling it unconstitutional. Suddenly, same-sex marriage was legal in California. But have the courts gone too far? And is same-sex marriage the right choice for California? On November 4th, Californians will have the chance to make their voices heard once more. This is Proposition 8, in plain English. Proposition 8 is a measure on the November ballot which will amend the California Constitution by adding these 14 words. Only marriage between a man and a woman is valid or recognized in California. A yes vote will reverse the Supreme Court's decision and restore traditional marriage to California. A no vote will affirm the Supreme Court's decision and allow same-sex marriage to continue in California. As with most political issues, there are strong feelings on both sides. Those in favor of the amendment argue that strong families are fundamental to society, and legalizing same-sex marriage could have harmful consequences. Those opposed to the amendment argue that same-sex marriage is a right and won't harm anyone. There are also many people in the middle who aren't quite sure what to think. Meet Jan and Tom. Jan and Tom have 2 children and a dog. They own a minivan. Tom mows his lawn on Saturday. Jan likes to cook. Jan and Tom live next door to Dan and Michael, a same-sex couple. Jan and Tom have been good friends with Dan and Michael for years. When Jan and Tom were on vacation, Dan and Michael watched their dog. When Dan was sick, Jan brought him soup. When they first heard about Proposition 8, Tom and Jan felt torn. On the one hand, they believed in and wanted to teach their children traditional family values. On the other hand, they felt Dan and Michael should be treated fairly and equally, regardless of their lifestyle choice. Tom and Jan wondered, will same-sex marriage affect us and our children? They decided to find out. After a few minutes on the internet, Tom discovered Section 297 of the California Family Code. That's interesting, thought Tom as he read it. It appears that same-sex couples like Dan and Michael, who are in a domestic partnership, already have the same legal rights and privileges as married couples. If this isn't about rights and equality, then what is it about? And why is changing the definition of marriage such a big deal? At that very moment, Jan was on the phone with her sister Nancy, who lives in Massachusetts, the only other state in the U.S. to legalize same-sex marriage. Here's what Jan learned. Fact: in 2004, Massachusetts legalized same-sex marriage. Fact: in 2006, a Massachusetts teacher read the story King and King to her second-grade class, which tells the story of a prince marrying a prince. When parents objected, courts ruled that parents had no right to receive advance notice that their children would be taught about gay marriage, nor could they pull their children from class. Fact: in 2006, Catholic Charities ended its adoption work in Massachusetts after more than 100 years of service, because the state's anti-discrimination laws required adoption agencies to place children in same-sex homes. Tom was now starting to understand. Changing the definition of marriage was a big deal and could have some very serious consequences. Consequences that would affect not only their children, but also their community. If Proposition 8 were to fail, would their church be required to perform same-sex marriages? What would their children be taught in school? Could anti-discrimination laws force citizens to compromise their values and beliefs in the name of tolerance? Was same-sex marriage really the right choice for California? Tom and Jan decided there was far too much at stake to leave these questions to chance. Tom and Jan are still good friends with Dan and Michael. In fact, they're having a barbecue together right now. You see, being a good neighbor is important, but Tom and Jan have come to an important realization. They can respect Dan and Michael's lifestyle choice without affirming and embracing their lifestyle. Tom and Jan will be voting yes this November on Proposition 8, and we hope you'll do the same. For more information, please visit whatisprop8.com.